Welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy, and I'm here today with Kim Bettcher. And Kim is a newly published author. She's decided to take up writing children's book. Actually, it's not just an overnight kind of thing. You've been thinking about this for a long time, and you have a new book out, and you're going to tell us a little bit about your experience, maybe going through the process of really taking your dream into action and that sort of thing, and then talking about your book called Sam Picks Football. And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was something that I've been writing for years. I mean, literally since I was little. I've been doing some school visits lately and reading the book. Been coming into the classroom, and I get to show my original, one of my very first books that I ever wrote when I was little. And the kids are always amazed that you can actually take that, pencil drawings and end up becoming an author. And this is something that this particular children's book adventure actually was about 5 years ago, 5 years in the making for this particular one. My son, our oldest child, was really interested in football and really had wanted a book about football. And he knows I write, and so I just had said, I'll write you a book about football. And over the years, just kind of wasn't sure what direction I wanted it to go, and I work at the community center, and just kids being active and some of those things has always been something that I've really been passionate about, is just trying to make sure kids are, hoping that kids are playing and making healthy choices that way. And one day, the boy had had an opportunity to participate in an activity that he had chosen to play a video game instead, and didn't make it to this particular activity, and the light bulb went on in my head, and then I said, that's it, that's the direction. Because I'd been going through this process of, for anybody who's out there that writes, that whether it's going to be a rhyming book or kind of how that whole thing shook out, and then after that the story just started flowing. And since I've been writing for years, I've done a lot of research with writing companies and submissions and how kind of that process, and done some big dream sample things, and did some submissions and received some, technically the best kind of rejection is a handwritten rejection, and I did get my very first rejection was that way, but was very encouraging of the project concept. And so with that and with some other things that had happened, I just decided to go ahead and figure out a way to get it published, with the idea that a way to play book series. The idea of the book is that kids will read an activity. This one particularly happens to be football, and in the back of the book there's a way to play the game, and was able to connect with an illustrator through the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. Is a great organization, and I connected with an illustrator through that, and she's actually out of Minneapolis, and then we were able to produce the book. So.
All right, and we have the book, Sam Picks Football, and it's a great thing. So you said this has been a 5-year process, but you found your illustrator, and you found a way to publish, which is you're self-publishing, basically.
Correct. Well, yeah, basically. I basically created a company, and because the company is called Purple Frog Publishing, and it's a way to play books.com. And what I did, I hired an editor, so I had a professional editor come in and make sure, because I wanted to protect the integrity of it, because I also knew I was the illustrator, author, and you're a little sensitive about what you're writing, and I wanted to make sure that what I was producing, and received some great feedback. And actually, she ran it through a national scoring system and grading system, reading level grading system, and stuff. And so it has some. I can go into classrooms and things and promote it that way. And then hired that, and hired somebody to work on my website. And like I said, I hired the illustrator and researched the printing company and connected with them, and they just did a great job with that. So it's been a fun endeavor. So.
Great. So you really combined all of your loves. I mean, you're definitely an athletic person, and you've got some kids, and you work at the community center, so always lots of kids to play, and you've seen things, like you said, at the community center you had that light bulb moment that said, this is what I've got to do, and so many people say that they can go right to the experience, and that's a good thing. Yeah, and actually I call them my moments. I mean, there's been these my moments in the process of, there was, 5 years ago for my son, he was looking for a football book that was at his reading level, and we were sitting at a beautiful bookstore in Denver, Colorado, and
there wasn't any books out at that time that really met that need. And visiting with some other parents, they had felt the same way, similar kids' age, and so we just really did it. And the thing is that it's a group of five kids, but it's boys and girls. And the other thing that we recognize, we have 3 kids, and not every one of our children might end up being athletic. So the idea is that for the kids is that they can play a game. So, for example, in this book, Mark gives up a video game to go play the game of football, but Mark gets to pick the next game. So, and Mark happens to really like treasure hunts. So the idea for the next book is, there'll be treasure hunts, and there's different ways to have adventures and play and be active without, it doesn't have to just be sports and things. So.
Okay. Yeah. I'm here today on Hometown Happenings with Kim Bettcher. She is the author of a new children's book. It's Sam Picks Football, and it is available locally, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back talking more about how you can get your hands on these puppies. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here with author Kim Bettcher, and she has written a new children's book, and it's out now just in time for the holidays, and or any time of the year, really. Sam Picks Football, a way to play books, and she has come up with this idea about books for kids with the game in mind, a specific game in mind, and actually directions on how to play the games. I see you have a little glossary in back. I love glossaries. Yeah. It's fun. Too. And now in the first half, you described kind of how the process that you went about publishing it and all that sort of thing. But, looking at the illustrations, they're great. And how did you, tell us a little bit about how did you connect with this illustrator, and how did you, obviously you had to send a story to her, and then she came up with the ideas.
Yeah, it was really fun, actually. Because I'm part of this organization, I basically put out a call for an illustrator, and I had actually met this illustrator a couple times previously, but I hadn't asked her specifically about this project, even though I had her in mind, because I wanted to kind of protect the integrity of the relationship and stuff. And I had 5 people respond, and within 48 hours, Sarah Weingartner is her name. She had sent back some really great sketches, and sent me some sketches back. And so then I submitted her the manuscript, and she kind of came the first time we met last spring, or a little over that. She had some really great ideas and layouts already of the book, and then. Thank goodness for technology, because email has been great in the whole process. So.
Okay. And one of the things, when I write, I have trouble always going with certain names. But did you get kind of hung up on that? I always have to ask you, how do you get to the characters? I mean, even children's books, so you got to have kind of the right kind of names.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It was one of those things that that I had a couple names in mind that I had been playing with for a while, and then really it was once she got the sketches that I thought, okay, this definitely is, this is the name for this character, or things like that. So just really actually seeing some of her pictures just kind of helped me to do that. But I did have a couple of the names. Sam, the kids' names of the 3 kids kind of were pretty set, but it was the other families that wasn't sure about. So.
All right, and you've been making your way around the community. You've been reading at some of the schools, which I think is great. Yeah. And now, how do people get their hands on one of these books?
Well, actually, here in town, Norby's department store carries them up in their children's book or their children's area. Book World has them back in their children's section, and so does the community center. So okay. You can also order online if you'd like to do that. If you're needing it to be shipped out or anything like that, you can order it online at awaytoplaybooks.com.
Mm-hmm. So. All right, and you've opened this up to an endless amount of books as far as the series goes.
Yeah, absolutely, endless possibilities.
Right. So it's not like the Harry Potter where you have like maybe 7 books.
No, the idea right now there's 5 sketched out ideas, so or 4 more, I guess, is kind of the rough estimate right now. So
okay, great. See. So we have here local author Kim Bettcher. You can pick her book up locally, and look for her company. It's Purple Frog Publishing. So, my best wishes to you and your company, and we'll hopefully have you on talking about more of your books. Maybe next time we'll have a little cheese ball and crackers, and we can serve them to an audience of people.
Thanks so much.
All right, and with that, I'm Carol McCarthy for Hometown Happenings, along with Kim Bettcher on TV3.